Hey everybody, welcome to Dancing Water. My name's Susan, and today I'd like to offer for our practice a simple restorative yoga practice. Restorative yoga is different than other kinds of yoga. This is not about stretching or strength or being able to put your body into any particular position. This is about deep relaxation and letting your nervous system fully let go. One of my teachers calls it fancy relaxation. So if you take this at a yoga studio, you're likely to use a lot of different props like bolsters and blankets and blocks and that kind of thing. But for our practice today, we will use things that you have around your house so that you don't need anything special, and you can do it just with whatever you have. So let me show you what I've gathered here. First of all, I've got my yoga mat. Some kind of cushioning on the floor is really good, especially if you've got a hardwood floors or no carpeting. You may want to take a larger blanket and actually make, oh, we have somebody who wants to come and practice restorative with us. You may want to give yourself some extra padding underneath. I'm not going to do that, but I like that, but I'm not going to do that just so that it's easier for you to see what I'm doing, how I'm setting things up. So then the next thing I have is some firm pillows. These are just pillows from my sofa, my favorite chicken pillow, of course. But you can also use actually cushions off of your sofa if those work. But you want something that's pretty firm, that can take some of your body weight and still hold you up. You can also take some pillows. These are just regular bed pillows. I have one that's a little bit firm and one that's a little bit soft. And I'm going to use both of those in the practice. Another thing you can use is just a towel that you can then fold into different heights, so you're supported in different ways. And you may also want a blanket, depending on how warm the room is. Your body temperature will tend to go down as you practice. So I like to have one nearby in case I start to get cold. Another thing you may want to have is a small hand towel, a face cloth, a handkerchief or something, just to cover your eyes. I find that when I practice, it helps me to let the muscles in my face relax, and especially if there's any light like there is this afternoon, it helps to calm your nervous system. The other thing I recommend is having a cup of tea or something warm to drink, uncaffeinated, at the end of your practice, or maybe at the beginning too. I really love to end this practice with a warm drink, and so having that ready is also a great thing to do. All right, so we're going to start with a pose called Mountain Brook. And I love that because we're here at Dancing Water, and when I stop talking, you may be able to hear the river outside. And so this is a posture that is mimicking water flowing over rocks. So I'm going to take my firm pillows, my chicken pillow and my other firm pillow, and I'm going to put it about 2/3 of the way for the end of my space here. My knees are going to go on top of this. Then I'm going to take the towel, and I'm going to fold it so it's not too high, but that is, something like that. It depends on your body, so you may need to adjust this. And so just sit right between the pillows and your towel, And then take your softest pillow, just something very soft and thin for under your head. So then just gently roll yourself back, and you want the towel or the pillow that you've got in the middle to be right under your shoulder blades. And then you can relax your knees so that the knees feel fully supported, and then your head fully supported with the soft pillow. And then I'm going to take my face cloth and put that over my eyes. I like to kind of push it down a little bit, just feel that kind of support, almost like my eyes are getting supported too. And then just take your arms out at a T, or you can take them into goalposts. And just check this out. Before you really let yourself relax, just feel if anything feels weird. If it's the ones under the ribs in particular, just notice. If you feel like you're straining, or if it feels like too much of an arch, play with adjusting the rib support so that it just feels like your body is rolling, flowing over the supports. Notice your knees. You don't want your knees too wide. You don't want your knees to be falling open and off the pillows, but just let them find some weight and some support under the knees. And then just pause and take a deep breath and let it go. Relaxing your jaw. Imagining your body like water flowing over stones. You should feel your hips and your heels relaxing on the floor, and your shoulder blades in the space between the towel and your pillow. You may want to roll your head just a little bit side to side, relaxing your neck, letting your teeth separate and your face soften. Feel your hands, fingers curled, soft, like the petals of a flower floating on the surface of the stream. Your leg bones heavy, like logs in the river, just letting your breath flow around them. Letting your body get softer and heavier as your breath gets more fluid and lighter. Notice your hips. See if you can notice any holding, as if you were bracing against the flow of the river, and instead let your hips relax and feel swirls of breath and water moving around your hips, along your legs, and down out of your feet. Your mind might wander away, and if it does, it's totally fine. It's what minds do. You can imagine it, a little stream branching off of the river. And you can give yourself the opportunity to choose. Do you follow that little stream, or do you invite it to come back into the flow of the river? Begin to deepen your breath. In restorative yoga, we usually hold poses anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes, or even more sometimes. So I'm going to transition us to the next pose, but if you are happy staying here, feel free to pause the tape, the recording, and join us again when you are ready to transition. And the shifts from pose to pose are part of the practice. So do them slowly and mindfully, letting yourself not rush, but to flow from one place to the next. So begin just by gently bending your knees, taking your feet on top of the support that was under your knees, and just let your knees now come together. And then gently sneak the towel or the pillow that was under your ribs out from underneath you. So now your feet are on the pillows, and your head is still relaxing. Just give yourself a moment here. Feel the sensation of this different shift of support. Then take a deep breath, and very gently, just let your knees fall to one side. And as you do this, let these firm pillows that were under your knees now come between your knees and your ankles. So you may need to sort of fiddle with them a little bit, adjust them. And you can play with how close your knees are to your chest or how far away. But what you want is to feel the length of your shin bone. You may even feel some of your thigh bone supported with the pillows. Your ankle also supported supported. So your ankles aren't rubbing together, but rather separated, and there's some softness and some space between your two legs. Find a position that feels good, and you can leave your eye covering on, and you can also turn your head away from your knees. So allowing your neck to get a little gentle twist, and you might put your eye covering a little tighter around your eyes, or just let it fall wherever it is. And again, you can have your arms out in goalposts, which is what I like, or out straight to the side. Just feel your ribs as you breathe. Feel your ribs floating on your breath. The gentle wave of your breath coming in and going out. Lifting, floating your ribs, and then gently letting them sink and soften down. If you find the urge to fidget or to move, pause and ask yourself, is this your body looking to be more comfortable? And if that's the case, definitely do that. Do whatever you need to feel as comfortable as you possibly can. But if it's your mind that's asking you to fidget and move because it's uncomfortable with stillness, take a breath and see if you can just let that float away on your breath. May or may not happen. It's fine if it doesn't. But just notice the difference between adjusting for comfort and fidgeting for anxiety or anxiousness or awkwardness. Notice any sounds around you. Notice if you can hear any sounds far away or any sounds close in. Maybe the sound of your breath. And again, you can keep holding this position as long as it feels good. If you want to hold longer than this, you're welcome to pause the recording and come back. Then whenever you're ready, again, making the transition part of the practice, gently draw your knees up and over. If you can, just leave the pillows right between your knees and gently take them to the other side. And you may need to adjust yourself a little bit, letting your head turn to the other side, with or without your eye covering, whatever feels good. And you can play with your knees closer to your chest or further away, but just make sure that your knees, your shins, and your ankles are all supported. Hip stacked over hip. Now these ribs, the ribs that are on top now, let them float a little bit. Let them float and sink on the rise and fall of your breath. Sometimes as you let bigger parts of your body, bigger muscle groups let go, you may discover underneath those bigger parts, some smaller muscles, intrinsic muscles, ready to let go. And you may find this sort of layering quality. We spend so much time doing, moving, accomplishing things. And this practice is about stopping that, letting it go. So, given our tendency to be constantly active, sometimes there can be chronically long-held tension in the body that we don't even know is there until we give it a chance to unwind. So let your breath move into the fibers, flow around your bones. Soften anything you can. Noticing any sensation along the outside of your hip. Remembering that this is not about stretching, this is about letting go. So if you feel any tension, feel free to make adjustments or see if you can open up any holding by softening your breath into any places that need it. When you're ready, using the space of transition as part of the practice, gently just move the pillows out from between your knees. Let your knees and your nose come up toward the ceiling. Widen your feet almost as wide as your mat. And again, let your knees rest together, softening your low back down without forcing anything. Just let yourself pause here and feel any sensation as a result of the pose that you just took. Twisting movements in yoga are often used to detoxify, to rinse away chronic holding. Just notice the sensation all along your spine. And one of the things you might notice is that there are parts of your spine that you don't feel connected to, that feel numb or out of reach. And if that's the case, it's totally fine and absolutely normal. And very gently, we're going to take another pose, and I'm going to show you a variety of options here. So first, just roll to one side. And then bring yourself gently up to standing with your head coming up last. And just feel your reorientation into upright. Take your time. You might feel a little dizzy or lightheaded. And so there's no rush. Just slowly find your way to a gentle inversion. So I'm going to take my two firm pillows plus the bed pillow. So I'm giving myself a bit of a bolster here. And I'm going to see how this works. It might be too much, but it might be just fine. So just experimenting here with this. Then let yourself come and sit on your pillows, okay? And then gently just rotate around and let your feet come on the outside of your pillows. And then you want to scooch your tailbone right up to the edge of your pillows. And then very slowly let yourself come down. So use your elbows and use your upper arm bones. And then grab your soft pillow and let it come under your head. So this is called supported bridge pose. And so you want your sacrum, the lowest part of your spine, to be fully supported. So this is one variation that's quite lovely. It gives you a nice, gentle inversion. This is one of my favorite poses. I often watch TV or listen to music in this posture. And if you've been sitting a lot, another option here is to let one leg or even two legs extend long. And that'll create some opening through your hip flexors, which is what gets contracted when we're sitting. So you could do one leg at a time or both legs at once, depending on how that feels. I'm going to just stay like this. You can also let your knees rest together like we were doing before. It's just a supported version. And arms and hands, same as we did before. You can also play with letting your hands rest on your body if that feels comfortable. Not everybody likes that, but you can feel that connection with yourself if that feels good. So again, you're totally fine to stay right here in any variation of supported bridge. Another inversion variation is to gently just let your feet float up in the air. So finding this plumb line of your legs where there's this just very slight adjustment so that you can feel an effortlessness of your legs floating up. You don't want to be vegan. You don't need to hold them in any way. And of course, if you've done it before, you can also do this posture against a wall by putting the pillows against the wall and then sitting and then rotating up. But I often just find it just as easy and just less fuss just to let my toes float. And any of these inversions are wonderful ways of reversing the flow, giving your heart a rest. When I'm doing these postures of inversion, I imagine like a waterfall of release just pouring down through my legs, cooling into my belly, and then spreading up and out through my chest, through my arms, out my fingers, out through my face and head. And again, just like we did before, you're welcome to cover your eyes if that feels good. Feel that flow moving from your feet, down your legs, resting, cooling your belly, expanding out along your ribs and arms, out and away. You can imagine any suffering, any struggle, any fear, let it just sweep clear in this flow. Trusting that the earth can receive anything that you no longer need, anything that's troubling you, the earth can take it. While you feel that flow, notice your breath. Notice your breath at your nostrils. You might feel a cool or tingling sensation as you breathe in. Allowing your breath to sweep through your mind like an open window on a warm day, just clearing out anything stale or stagnant, softening the spaces inside your mind and letting it relax. If at any time you feel tingling in your fingers or toes, feel free to adjust your hands. Maybe let your feet come down. You could even let your knees come in toward your chest or back to the floor. Putting legs up is something I often do if I'm having trouble sleeping, because I find that it's very soothing to the nervous system. So whenever you're ready to transition to our final posture, to final resting pose or Savasana, very gently just let your feet come to the floor and push your bolster, your pillows down and away from you. So again, they're resting under your knees if you wish. Sometimes people like to have their knees supported. I'm one of those people. But sometimes it also feels good just to have nothing under your knees. So I'll do that just to show you. And you can make the same choice with your head, whether or not you want to keep the pillow under your head, whether or not you want the eye covering. Just let your toes flop out to the side, knees gently soften, palms either facing up or facing down, whatever feels good. I like the feeling of palms down, this feeling of letting go, of dropping the doing. Making any final adjustments before you let yourself completely relax into stillness. Letting all the postures that we've done together integrate into this final pose. This ultimate pause. This posture is sometimes called corpse pose. Symbol of the ultimate pause. And again, you're welcome. Stay here just as long as you like. But whenever you're ready, taking one arm up overhead by your ear, gently drawing your knees in toward your chest and rolling to the side where your arm is long and letting yourself roll onto your side. You can let your eye covering stay or fall off. Just feel yourself on your side for a moment or two. And the next time you inhale, using your top hand to push down, and again, gently bring yourself back to seated. Very slowly. Maybe taking something to sit on. I'm going to take my chicken pillow. Sit on that. you can have some tea. Just take a moment and pause. Just feel the sensation of the cup in your hands. Take a breath and smell the fragrance. Maybe feel the warmth against your heart. And recognizing that while movement and activity is an essential part of our human lives, so is stopping, so is resting. We so often leave that out. So sealing the essential quality of this practice, taking a sip of tea, swallowing, feeling the tea move down, resting in your belly. So my sweet friends, thank you for practicing with me this fine day. This is something that you can come back to anytime. And I will come back and I will regularly offer some variations and other poses that you can experiment with. But at the very least, give yourself the opportunity to stop and feel supported. Thank you.